इसको तो खोल के रखेंगे. Vikram Singh, please unmute yourself.
Yes,
Time for
why
you to
not?
come in.
Let's open it.
Yeah, we'll open it. We are opening it. No. Chalo, you versus me.
You open it and I will answer each and every question.
Answer से क्या? अरे जेल में रहेगा आपका client. His grandfather will also be in jail within 1 month. You see?
वो जेल में ही है ना.
अरे जेल में उसके grandfather को भेजो ना. छोटा राजन का जो पार्टनर है. छोटा राजन के साथ छोटा राजन को जिसने सुपारी दी थी उसको भी अंदर भेजो ना. जो आदमी उसके grandfather ने छोटा राजन को सुपारी दी थी कि नहीं? Had his grandfather, did his grandfather pay Chhota Rajan? A man who paid Chhota Rajan, Vikram Singh, please unmute yourself, is standing as a moral guarantor for his killer grandson's conduct.
No, that's
what that? Vikram Singh, please. Can't hear you, Vikram Singh. I need to get your audio in. Ladies and gentlemen, many people calling once again. Can you hear me, sir? Vikram ji, I can't hear you. I can't hear you at all. I'm going to get in Dinesh, Professor Dinesh Rao right now into the case. Professor Dinesh Rao. There is the way the samples of the blood were taken. Accident takes place at 3 a.m. Blood sample is taken 7 to 8 hours later. What would be the influence on the sample? Urine sample not collected. What would be the implication of that in a case like this?
Yes, Arnab, see, the percentage of the alcohol or the amount of alcohol is depending on the time of consumption and the time of collection of sample. See, rate of metabolism of alcohol we say is 15 milligrams per 100 ml per hour. So, depending on that, definitely if it has been collected nearly 7 hours later, there are a lot of chances that the percentage of alcohol consumed at the time of accident and the time of collection, there is a lot of variation, and the amount reflected on the results will definitely add up to the crime. That is the one possibility. And secondly, the urine samples are not collected. See, when urine samples are not collected, especially if there is a suspicion or the possibility of drugs, definitely the metabolites after 7 hours found in the blood is most unlikely. Especially drugs like cocaine and LSDs may not be reflected in the blood sample 7-8 hours after the consumption. But whereas in the urine sample, definitely there will be a possibility of finding those metabolites and confirmation of the consumption of those drugs. And besides that, the recent consumption is from the blood and urine samples, whereas the air sample is another very good sample to confirm the past consumption of drugs.
So would you say?
So here I see that I didn't hear about the.
Would you say that the police has knowingly failed to do what it needs to do from a forensic angle to prove a watertight case against the killer? If it wanted to, it could have, but it chose not to.
Yes, that's what it is more obvious, because the samples, one thing is what you pointed out is there's 2 places the sample collection. This is something highly suspicious, which never happened in my history of medical legal practice.
And why would the samples, Professor Rao, be given to, the police commissioner told me that 2 samples were given at a gap of 4 hours to check some DNA angle in this. Would that be necessary? And would it not have to be given to the same hospital? Would you deliberately take a second sample after 4 hours, send it to a third hospital to check some DNA angle in this? Or is the police commissioner misleading you?
The question of DNA never arises is because here is the identity of the suspect is not in question. And secondly, the DNA sample procedure is totally different. I think my fellow colleague advocate knows about it, because it is entirely ordered through the magistrate, and in the presence of the magistrate, the samples are drawn with an ID form and a forwarding letter.
Okay, Shawan has a breaking news input. I'm going to the newsroom. Shawan, quick breaking news input he's going to have for us. We'll get him in a minute. How do you see this story so far, Vikram Singh? I don't have him again. Mr. Vikram Singh, how do you see the story so far? If you can hear me. No, we have a problem there. Let me get a take from PK Jain, please. PK Jain, how do you view the inconsistencies so far?
See, Arnab, the only mistake I find on the part of the police in the beginning was that instead of applying section 304 of the IPC, which is culpable homicide, they applied the section of 304A, which is a rash and negligent act, because of which this offense came to be categorized as serious offense. Or it was not even a serious, it was a petty offense under the JJ Act. See, JJ Act has only 3 categories of offenses: petty, serious, and heinous. Heinous offenses are where the punishment is more than minimum 7 years or more than 7 years. Now, in this case, even culpable homicide has a punishment of 10 years, but there is no minimum punishment prescribed. That is why the Juvenile Justice Board was within their rights, because of these sections, to grant him bail. But subsequently on appeal, they revised their judgment, and now they have confined.
So you are saying that the Juvenile Justice Board, 1 minute, this is such complete non-application of mind on your part, you're a lawyer. You're saying that can you hear me first of all, Vikram Singh, can you hear me? I'm checking again and again and again if he can.
Arnab, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, sir. PK Jain says this is a petty case. 2 professionals have been killed by a drunk super brat. He says technically, he uses the technical angle of this being a petty case. He says by technical definition, it's a chota mota petty case. I say it's a heinous offense. Some application of mind by the Juvenile Justice Board would have told him the same thing. But it appears, it appears the Juvenile Justice Board is looking for a loophole where none exists. Vikram Singh.
Arnab, good evening, gentlemen. It's a matter of satisfaction that all professionals on this panel, firstly, if there was a trophy for a shoddy and a compromised investigation, it will go to this investigation. It was compromised with a capital C from the beginning itself. First, the sections that were invoked were inappropriate. Secondly, the entire system bent head over heels to help and bail out the accused, and which they managed to succeed. It's a different matter that you raised a storm, and the storm became a tsunami, and then the rest is history. Everybody was there. And in a compromised ecosystem, whether it was the bar, whether it was the registration of the Porsche, or whether it was the question, our expert has very lucidly explained. Why was the urine sample not taken? And the breath analyzer also, I would say, the breath analyzer, the urine and the sample. You can take 10 samples from the same person from the same location, because time is important. If there's a time lapse of 2 hours and 3 hours, which admittedly the police commissioner himself admitted, then this is inexplicable, and it goes to show that there was an insidious attempt to give a digression or an escape route to the accused. This is absolutely unacceptable to give a time lapse, because the half-life of the residual drugs or alcohol or both can be compromised if there is a lapse of 3 to 6 hours. Now, coming to the fact, the MLA has every right to go to a public place, but not with the instruction. What is the presumption? The presumption is very odious and obnoxious that he went at an hour with the ostensible purpose, and as per his own admission to you, he had gone there to impact the investigation and also influence the investigation so as to give the benefit of doubt or give the benefit advantage to the accused, and he was able to do it. Coming down to everybody, the JJ board, I would not like to comment on that, but the fact of it is very surprising and shocking that when 2 innocent lives were lost, the JJ board...
I want to